morning. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you so much. Welcome. Welcome. I think it's going to be a very short briefing. And after that, I'm going to take a few questions, and then we can start. So, well, my briefing is basically on the Enugu 2023 gubernatorial elections, which I consider an assault on our democracy. And so, in the Enugu, I welcome you formally and I say good morning. I will begin this address by thanking you for the warm welcome into your homes, your businesses, and digital spaces throughout the duration of the gubernatorial campaigns. Your investment of hope and trust in my candidacy was a constant boost of inspiration for me and my team. It remains so even today. The elections have come and gone, and with it, a multitude of infringements on our democratic process, an assault on our desires and our hope for our great state. I celebrate everyone who came out to participate in the democratic process in spite of the challenges, threats, and intimidation reported across the state. Your determination is a sign of the awakening that has taken place, and I encourage you not to be discouraged. May I continue? I celebrate everyone who came out to participate in the democratic process in spite of the challenges, threats, and intimidation reported across the state. Your determination is a sign of the awakening that has taken place, and I encourage you to keep your hope alive. Do not despair, and do not be discouraged by the unfortunate challenges that have beset our current democratic experience. I often said during my campaign that I would offer my congratulations and best wishes to whoever emerged in a fair and transparent manner. This election was far from fair and certainly not transparent. The violence, thuggery, intimidation, use of divisive sentiments, and the weaponization of poverty against our people, which the People's Democratic Party deployed in the course of the campaign and the elections, reflect the desperation of the party to hold on to power against the will of the people. It was never about service or the good of Enugu, and the impunity with which these wicked acts were carried out is sickening. Just before midnight, March 17, 2023, another piece of propaganda was released and distributed aggressively to insinuate that I had stepped down for Peter Mba, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party. This recurrent lie may be referred to as a political strategy, but we must call a lie what it is: the absence of integrity, a quality most desired in our government today. We would also discover in the course of the day that agents and canvassers at polling units told voters the same story, that I had stepped down on the morning of the election. Very early in the morning of Saturday, March 18, town criers traveled through several communities in Enugu State, ordering anyone who would not vote in favor of the People's Democratic Party to stay home. The House of Assembly candidate of the All Progressive Grand Alliance for Enugu constituency was attacked and almost killed on the morning of the election. 5 polling units within its jurisdiction were cordoned off by police and the military officers. At various polling units across the state, PDP thugs, party members, hired criminals, and some compromised members of the police and military threatened voters at polling units and chased those who could not be bought over or intimidated into voting for the PDP. In Nsukka, voters recorded and reported gunshots at polling units allegedly instigated by the Labour Party. The most vulnerable and impoverished became prey to vote buying by the People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party with as little as 500 naira of packets of Indomie in some places. At Udenu, both parties competed for the votes of our people with 2,000 naira, a plate of jollof rice, oba, and a bottle of soda. I feel ashamed that this is what our people are worth to some who seek to lead them. I'm even more embarrassed by the so-called enlightened citizens who have lost sight of the implications of these actions. The PDP also secured assistance of the INEC agents to rig the elections, offering cash or issuing threats as the situation demanded. Only a few polling unit agents uploaded their results directly on IREV as provided by INEC, and fake result sheets were used to rewrite and manipulate the results of vote counts at the polling units before the falsified results of elections were uploaded to the IREV. Some of these result sheets are also completely blurred on the portal. The collation centers at the local government headquarters were completely hijacked by thugs and compromised security operatives and party agents. Other than the agents of the PDP were not allowed access to any stage of the collation process until Sunday morning at 7:20 p.m. on election day. Shots were fired sporadically at Nkanu West Collation Center in Havana, while the military stood aside and watched. Similar breaches of the law and subversion of the electoral process occurred across many locations in the state. At the start of this campaign, I said emphatically that no ambition is worth the life of any individual. My sentiments about this have not changed, and it is unfortunate that those who seek to govern our state are comfortable with expending the lives of citizens as political collateral damage. The elections of March 18, 2023 in Enugu State were a complete sham. They were not fair, they were not free, and they were not credible. Yet, none of these actions came as a surprise. In this same room, weeks before the election and consistently, we shared detailed intelligence reports of the impending disaster with the Independent National Electoral Commission and the security agencies. We consistently received assurances and chose to believe that our democracy will be protected in the face of desperate plans for subterfuge. It is unfortunate that resolute actions were not taken to avert the threats we reported. Again, we saw that the problem is not democracy itself. The problem is the people, the institutions that we rely upon to manage our democracy. The entire process, down to the declaration of its winner, is a complete farce and will lack legitimacy for as long as it stands. The results of Nkanu East local government area, which were contested, got reviewed and revised by the National Office of INEC without any basis given for the change in numbers. If it was a case of overvoting, the expectation is that the results from the local government area should have been cancelled. That is what the law says. It does seem that the numbers were simply manufactured to fit a pre-programmed outcome and read out to the public, as can be inferred from the returning officer of INEC in the state, Professor Iwe's comments about acting under authority and reading out what he had been given. I'm utterly disappointed with the manner in which the Independent National Electoral Commission handled the 2023 elections. I'm also saddened by the actions of some members of our security agencies. Both of these institutions of state let the people down when they became compromised by a few desperate power mongers and looters. The unchecked intimidation and violence, the massive rewriting of results, and the overall abuse of the people's will would have failed if not done in connivance with the electoral umpire and members of our security agencies. Yet, as I said in the beginning, do not be discouraged. If the past year has revealed anything, it is that power truly resides with the people. The criminal activities of March 18 and the events that preceded it in the few weeks leading to the election were a testament to the fear instilled in the incumbent party by the people. We must not relent now. In fact, the journey has only just begun. We must keep engaging the system and these institutions. No matter how long it takes, we will take back our state. There are far too many people suffering, impoverished, and bereft of hope for us who know what should be done to be quiet. For the children in Iva Valley, Enugu Peak, bunker, and other slums. For their sake, we must keep going. For the woman in Enugu who came to sell her wares in the market, carrying her 2-week-old baby, we must keep going. For our aged parents who are owed pensions and gratuities, and for our young graduates who see no hope of a future in their homes, we will keep going. We must not lose faith in our democracy or in any state. As individuals and collectively, we must keep pursuing our rights to choose our leaders, to good governance, and to experience the dividends of democracy. I have no problem losing an election to the will of the people. But when this will has been subverted, we have no choice but to review the entire process and its outcome. We will explore and exhaust every action required to ensure the legitimacy of the next government in Enugu State. You cannot hold accountable something that was acquired by illegitimate means. So once more, I thank you. We thank our supporters and everyone who believed and who came on this journey with me and with us. So God bless you all, and may God bless Enugu State. So thank you, gentlemen, and I'm happy to take any questions you may have. Any questions? Yes, please. Go ahead.
My name is Adish Oladunade. I work for NGS. My question is this: you just described the election as not fair, free, but I was at the collation center when the agent of your party present there signed the results. Did he do that on his own, or it was instructions from you? Thank you.
Well, whoever signed the results, for whatever his the reasons are best known to him, but the elections, for the reasons I've described, were a complete farce, a complete sham. And I believe that as an employee of Energy FM, I know that you have hotlines open, and I know that several people reported these infringements and all of these challenges to you. And so hopefully, being mindful of what happened on that day, having received first-hand information, hopefully you will agree with me that it was a complete, the outcome was a complete sham. And I'm happy to note you're nodding your head in agreement. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, yes, Eva.
Your Excellency, my name is Edgar of Pure TV. My question is, the slogan now in the country is go to court. Obviously, you're not happy and not satisfied with the outcome of the election. So, my question now is, what is the next step?
Eva, are you happy with the conduct of the election? As a journalist and everything you witnessed, or were you happy with the outcome of the elections, with the way they conduct the process? Please answer me.
The question is, are you going to court?
No, the question is, as a journalist and as a citizen, with the level of disenfranchisement that you face, with the level of insecurity, with the conflict situation that you saw, with the vote buying that you recorded with your cameras, Eva, tell me, what is your own position? Are you happy with what happened as a citizen? Are you happy with what happened? You're not happy. You don't want to answer because you want to be politically correct. No. And that exactly is part of the problem. Answer the question. As a citizen, can you tell me and your colleagues that the elections were free, they were fair, and that the process respected the will of the people? Please, yes or no?
Yes, so the law says that
I have made a statement to you, and I said I will exhaust every opportunity to hold, right, the Independent National Electoral Commission and all their accomplices accountable for the conduct of these elections and their outcomes. I said that very clearly. So your question is mute. Yes. Next, please. Okay. Yes.
Every election, there is complaint about manipulations, rigging, and what have you. And I know that over time, INEC has tried to do a few things, at least to get us free from this. Otherwise, talk about rivers and what have you. Now, after this election of last Saturday, we still return to where we were coming from several years ago. A situation where people now bypass their diplomas and then started intimidation, what have you. So what we're saying is, what do we do to get this process right? What do we need to do to at least combat some of these things? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, Mr. Joku, well, thank you. I'm happy to know that we're on the same side. Thank you very much. I'm happy to know that we're on the same side. But it's really, really unfortunate. That is why I said in my address, the problem is not democracy itself. The problem are the individuals who have been nominated, who have been appointed to head our institutions, right? So look at all the beautiful plans that INEC, National Chairman of INEC, the Chairman of INEC shared with us. And yet look at how he failed the nation. Look at how all of that experience just literally destroyed Nigeria's reputation and broke the hearts of our people. Look at the global headlines. Go and see the headlines cast by the Economist of London. Go and see the headlines cast by Bloomberg, by Washington Post, by New York Times. It's such a shame, it's such an embarrassment. And some of these guys will go down in history as some of the worst things that ever happened to our country. So, my advice is we must not stop engaging the system. Because the question then is, what alternative do we have? We must not stop engaging the system. And that's why I said again repeatedly in the course of my address that we must not give up on democracy. It's not the system of government that is the problem. It is the individuals, the institutions that manage it on our behalf. That is the problem. We must continue to push for the right people to emerge as heads of those institutions. We must continue to even hold ourselves accountable. As you sit here today, was there anything you did on that day that you shouldn't have done? Was there anything you did to aid and abet the undermining of the popular will? So we must introspect as well, because these things never happen in isolation. The things you observed, did you report it the way you should have reported it? Did you give it the prominence you ought to have given it? Did you escalate it in the way you should have escalated it? If you didn't, you're not any less culpable than the people who perpetrated it. Because as gentlemen of the press, you have an extremely important role to play in society. You have an extremely important role to play. And that's why the press is described as the third estate of the realm. Never mind that people may not accord you the respect or the prestige that your profession ought to attract. It does not in any way undermine, or it does not in any way, yes, it does not in any way undermine or mitigate the importance of the work you do. And so, these are just my thoughts, Mr. Joko. These are the ways that that's the way I feel I can respond to this.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Michael Ban is my name, my right for Summit News. I would like to move away from the election, what transpired during the governorship election.
Okay.
And we have known you from time immemorial as a member of the People's Democratic Party, but moved to APGA, at the twilight of the just concluded elections. I want to find out from you, sir. Are you going to remain in APGA and build a party? Or have you finished with the party since the result didn't go your way?
For me, I hold the mandate. I'm the flag bearer of the All Progressive Grand Alliance here in Enugu, and it's a mandate that I respect, and that's why I'm able to come out and say that we would pursue every opportunity available for us to obtain redress. Any other question?
I have a question, sir.
Yes, please.
Michael Lediago. I observed over time, after the elections, the politicians go back to base. The next election, we begin to complain of the same wiki, the same individuals managing the electoral process. Do you have any plan to take a head on those who are unable to do what they're supposed to do? I want to use that words. You talked about people using fake result sheets. Do you have any plan, not just INEC as an institution now, but individuals who's supposed to use the original result sheet, but they are now using fake result sheets? Do you have such plan or think in that direction?
Such plan to do what? I'm not so sure.
To take any one of them to court?
I don't know, I think I addressed this issue here. I think I've responded to it. I'm saying that, there were institutions that enabled this, right? These infringements, these malpractices were enabled by the institution. For instance, if I have a result sheet, where did I get it from? Am I supposed to have a result sheet? Is my agent supposed to have a result sheet? Is a local government chairman supposed to have a result sheet? Clearly not. Clearly not. So our duty is to challenge the process and therefore the outcome. Right? That's my duty, and I thought I said that clearly in my address. Yes.
All right, that's all. That will go for us.
No, wait. There's no. Is there any other question? No. So we